You snapped at him. You didn't mean to. It was one of those days where everything went sideways before 9 a.m. and by the time you got home, you had nothing left. Maybe you raised your voice. Maybe you skipped the walk and just closed the bedroom door. And yet, there he is, tail doing those slow, hopeful tippy taps against the hardwood, cold nose pressing into your palm like a question mark. No drama, no passive aggression, no guilt trip, just him. Warm, slightly smelly, completely unbothered by the fact that you are, objectively, not okay right now. And somewhere in the middle of that moment, it hits you. I do not deserve this dog. Here's what most people assume when they think about dog loyalty. It's a transaction, right? You fill the bowl, they wag the tail. Simple economy. Dogs are opportunists dressed in fur, affectionate because you control the kibble supply. And honestly, on the surface, that's not a crazy take. Even some animal behaviorists used to lean on it. But try explaining that theory to a husky. A husky who will scream at you like you've personally insulted his entire bloodline, steal your sandwich off the counter without making eye contact, and still physically block the front door when you try to leave. That's not a food transaction, that's something weirder and more interesting. So dogs are loyal because of food. Actually, wait, no. That's only half the truth. And honestly, it might be the least interesting half. Researchers at the University of Veterinary Medicine in Vienna ran a series of experiments where they separated dogs from their owners and from strangers in environments where food was completely removed from the equation. No treats, no rewards, just space and choice. And the dogs, consistently, across breeds, across ages, sought out their owners. Not the strangers, not the food source, the person. That's not opportunism, that's something that looks a lot more like preference. What it actually looks like when you dig into the behavioral science is something called a secure attachment bond. And here's where it gets genuinely strange. This is the exact same psychological framework used to study how human infants bond with their caregivers. Dr. Hofstrom-Leontin, Lisa Horn's research demonstrated that dogs navigate the world the way babies do. They use their owner as a kind of emotional home base. When something's uncertain or scary, they look back at you for reassurance, for a cue that says, this is fine, or run. You know those muffled, twitchy barks your dog does while he's dreaming? That's not random noise. That's his nervous system literally reprocessing emotional experiences. He's filing you away. You are part of his internal world in a way that food never could be. And here's where this gets uncomfortable, in a good way. That loyalty isn't automatic. It's not a factory setting that ships with every dog. It's chosen over and over again. In every moment your dog recalibrates toward you, even when you're distracted, stressed, or just not your best self. Pause, look at camera. Think about how many times you ate an entire meal while they watched. With those eyes. That specific expression that is scientifically engineered to make you feel like a monster. You sat there eating your pasta. They got nothing, and they're still on your feet tonight. I'll just say it, we don't deserve them. Now the biology part, because this is actually wild. When you and your dog make eye contact, just casual, unprompted eye contact, both of your bodies release oxytocin, the bonding hormone. A 2015 study published in Science by Miho Nagasawa and her team at Azabu University found that mutual gazing between dogs and humans triggers the exact same hormonal feedback loop seen between mothers and newborns. The exact same loop. So that thing where you're just sitting there, zoning out, and your dog slowly turns and locks eyes with you for no reason, that's not a stare, that's a chemical event. You are literally bonding in real time without doing anything. Here's the long view. Dogs didn't stumble into this. They evolved it over roughly 15,000 years of living alongside humans. Dogs that bonded strongly, that made themselves emotionally indispensable, survived. Dogs that didn't make it into the gene pool. Loyalty at this point isn't a personality quirk your dog has. It's a biological inheritance older than most human civilizations. Wolves didn't do zoomies. Wolves didn't sploot across your clean laundry the second you folded it. Somewhere along the way, dogs figured out that being irresistible was a competitive survival advantage. And honestly, respect. The textbooks, the old school ones, will tell you dogs are loyal to dominant pack leaders. Confident, authoritative figures who project control. Hold up, chewed shoe. This dog destroyed $80 of footwear this week. He still slept on my feet last night. I have no idea where the dominance hierarchy is in that relationship, but I am clearly not at the top of it. Real loyalty, it turns out, doesn't flow toward authority, it flows toward relationship. Toward the person who baby talks them at 2 a.m. and lets them boop the snoot on demand. The science backs this up, and so does every chaotic dog household in existence. But here's the part nobody tells you. And I was going to put a graph here, but honestly, just picture a very sad chart and we'll move on. Unconditional loyalty can hide real distress. Separation studies using physiological monitoring have found that many dogs who appear calm when left alone, no barking, no destruction, are actually running elevated cortisol levels. They're suppressing it. They look fine. They're not fine. The loyalty doesn't switch off, but that doesn't mean the cost disappears. So what do you do with all of this? Not an expensive training program, nothing complicated. Get down to floor level, camera. Try this, sit on the floor with them, no phone, no half attention. Just be there. Watch what happens in about 90 seconds. That's it. That's the whole intervention, because the science says the bond deepens through presence, through eye contact, through physical proximity, through letting them sniff the weird thing on the walk, even when you're in a hurry. Back to the beginning. You, bad day, snapped, skipped the walk. Here's the reframe. Your dog wasn't forgiving you. He never stopped. The forgiveness was preloaded, wired into 15,000 years of neurological evolution, running like background software you can't see. His brain is literally not structured to categorize you as a threat and hold it. You are, to him, the base state, the home, the safe thing. Quiet pause. The question was never whether your dog will stay loyal. The question is, are you paying attention to what that actually costs them to give you? Okay, last thing. Every dog has one completely unhinged habit that makes absolutely zero sense. My dog barks at the same corner of the ceiling every night at exactly 9 p.m. Nothing is there. I've checked. He is certain. Drop yours in the comments. Genuinely, I read them all, and they are the best part of this whole thing. And next time, we're going into something I think about way too much, why your dog follows you into the bathroom. There's a real answer. It's not what you think.